it is time to do some proper maintenance on my Canon PowerShot G7 X Mark II. The camera that I've been using ever since I dropped my old Samsung ZR1000 in the lake in 2017. This camera I got because Casey Neistat recommended it, and I'm glad I got it. Very great low light, very good picture quality, very good strength. It has withstood quite a bit. This is the camera that has lasted longest out of any camera, you can see it broke, that I've ever used. So this is a good camera. However, it needs some maintenance, and I figure I can tell you little quirks about it. And we're going to add the windscreen back onto it. It fell off. So, first of all, my video quality has been quite bad for the past month or two because I dropped this off of my loft in my workshop. I laid my tripod down, the tripod was broken, and so it just fell off, and it rolled like 4 feet and fell down. It landed on a rubber mat on the ground, but I was so fucking pissed. It wouldn't open up right. It would get out and then it stuck and it would just have errors. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to not film anything for like a month or two. Well, then the next day I realized I actually could get it working. I just popped the lens back in, and now it works fine. The lens is busted. I do not dare turn on the touchscreen because I imagine this lens, this LCD being busted, is probably detecting prints all over, and so it will be very difficult to get the touchscreen off. So, first of all, I do have some scratches, and there's a lot of dust in the actual lens itself that'll never come out. So, this will be cleaned up in this video and put back into service, but I'm thinking I might buy another PowerShot G7 X Mark II because I like this one so much, and I highly recommend it. And then this will be the camera that will be very close to like a rocket going off or whatever, and so it might get messed up, but this will be the B camera. Alright, so first of all, the first issue I've really had is this coming loose, because these screws, I use this camera like crazy, these screws can come loose. I lost one of them, and I had to remove this screw to put into there because it was falling out. And I'll have to put some Loctite on it eventually, but for now, I can just continue to tighten them down. So that's what we shall do. Oh, yep, they'd come out a little bit. I don't want to strip them out though. I've dropped this camera probably about 15 times now, and the thing that I've noticed is that this entire piece can get skewed out because it bends here and it bends there, and so sometimes it'll move to where the LCD is moved over a little bit, and it will not go back in. The fix to that is just to crunch it over, and then it goes back down. This it's a pretty hardy camera, I must admit. All right, let's remove this tape. Look at the difference. That's a nice camera. So this tape's lasted about 3 years. With one piece of foam, I'm able to record on my bicycle up to about 20 miles an hour of wind, and I have no issues. Here lately, the foam, the tape broke and such, and so I haven't had the foam on there. A lot of my videos have been having issues. I may wish to clean inside of there, but because I've had the foam on there, this section right here hasn't gotten very dirty. The foam did go over to here, so this might be a little too narrow. We'll get into this type of foam later on, but for now, I say we clean this up with some isopropyl alcohol. Oh, and regarding the batteries, the official Canon batteries do last a lot longer, but you can buy like 6 or 7 of these if you really shop around, and I'd rather just do that, because I had one of the nice Canon ones. It was in my pocket. It got a nail through it and my pocket caught on fire. So in my workplace environment, since I'm so hard on my tools, I'd rather have a few really cheap ones. And they seem to last about, you have an hour worth of footage, an hour's worth of filming. So you might want to carry 2 or 3 with you, as opposed to the Canon, which can do about 90 minutes or 2 hours. Actually, you know what? I was going to do a little trough, but I'm just going to take out my sponge, put some isopropyl alcohol in there. I'll remember not to use this in soldering. Isopropyl alcohol. And now I have a little bath of isopropyl alcohol. And we can see if the isopropyl alcohol messes this up. So I clean this lens quite often, but we'll just start with that. Out of all the abuse I've put this through, I've not had a single button failure, so that says a lot. Oh, look at that. It's red in there. I totally forgot that's red underneath there. Look at that. I totally forgot there's a red ring underneath there because it was covered in grime. This white is indented. Let's see if we can clean off these. I think we can. You can see what I've already cleaned. We need to clean that too. Oh, look at that. Oh, I think that was always brown. There is so much stuff on this. Hydraulic fluid, and oh, look at that. It's coming back to life. This is going to be so nice to use finally. Is that something? Oh, I might have covered something up there, like a light sensor. Odd. I'll check this out. Look at that. You can obviously tell the yellowness on that. Everything from oil to welding fumes to blacksmithing fumes, everything on there and gone. Not much chunks coming off. Oh, so I had that piece of foam on top of there for so long. I totally forgot it has that. And oh man, a little pocket for all the gunk to get into. That's what happens with old cameras. I can actually see the dirt. Eesh. I do really like that the ribbon cable on this mechanism is shielded. It's a good idea to have that shielded with another piece of armor in front of it, because that would have been broken by this point. Oh, so now we should clean this part. I imagine later on someday these rubber pieces will be the first to degrade and turn all sticky, but they aren't yet. So that's good. We have a clean camera. It's time to add a wind filter. First I shall take some gaffer's tape, about yay much. Cut into strips like that. This tape eventually does work its way out, so that's unfortunate. I don't want the tape sticking to this, and then I also want it cut right here. Press that down. So hopefully it won't come up this time. It'll always eventually come up, but I want it to not to. But here's the question. Does it sound like shit and I have to undo it and redo it again? Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Blowing on the microphone right now. I'm thinking we might want to go bigger. Something like maybe that wide. So this is just some open cell foam, and by open cell I mean that you can put your mouth against it and blow through it. It's not bubbles, it's like the opposite of bubbles, and the inverse structure of bubbles. Just some packing foam that I found, and it just seems to work great. This is the same piece that I've slowly been cutting pieces off of. Oh wait, here. Ew, that's kind of dirty. I found it on the ground, and it was a bit big, but let's scrunch down. Unfortunately, the piece that I had on here, it was so well used that it had oil and stuff on it, so I just threw it away. I'm gonna go wash this up. I found all this stuff behind my workbench when I was cleaning up my room. I'm glad I found it. And look at that, all clean. A little piece of glue on it, that's fine. The front is what always slips first. Maybe we can resolve it this time. I mean, it took 2 years for it to slip, but that seems like too much. I went over a little bit more this time. Alright, so now we are testing with the LCD up, which has a certain sound to it. It reflects sound differently. LCD down has a different sound to it. And then camera up in the middle of the room, and then LCD up and the camera up in the middle of the room. Otherwise the workbench bounces sound off. All of this stuff plays a factor, but the key is the wind. So this should not have any sound. Then this, it'd be okay if it has a bit of sound. And this one, it'll probably have sound. Be pretty good. Test of ambient sound. There's also quite a bit of wind. Enough that without this piece of foam it would have wind noise, but I'm confident that it will not. I hope this sounds all right. You hear the cicadas back there. So, that's pretty much it. I love that I restored this camera because it gets a lot of use. It's amazing that it looks so dark, and it has the red rings. The rubber looks black. It doesn't have the dirt between the creases as much. There's still a little bit. I'm not going to clean it like crazy, but oh well, pretty good. I just want to look at my camera now because it's like it's brand new. What's interesting is I've used this camera so much that I've worn away the anodizing or paint or whatever it is, and whenever I get another one, well, then we can really compare against a brand new one, if they even make them anymore. I should probably look into that. Maybe the Mark III. They might make the Mark III. We'll see about that. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for watching. See ya.